Story of Undertale. Undertale the musical. Undertale the musical animation song parody. This is a video which I am sure you're all familiar with to some degree. 7 years ago, Alhugany uploaded a parody of the video game Undertale, and the YouTube space changed forever. When this video dropped, it didn't just blow up, it exploded. It stands here today, halfway through 2023, with over 17 million views. Not even his most viewed video, as FNAF 3 the musical overtakes it by around double that, at 34 million views. But in this video, I will tell the greatest story ever written by a human. This is the story of Undertale.
I'm on the saddle and I got a taste. I want to wipe out the monster race. Whoa, I got no patience, I've got no soul. I will slaughter, screw the devil.
Now for starters, we should perhaps cover the, let's say, reputation this video has. It's somewhat infamous for being, should I say, of a somewhat lesser quality than other animations, or being inaccurate to the game's events. You can see this anywhere you look, be it r/Undertale or even in the comments of the actual video itself. Believe it or not, this trend even continues to this day, with Story of Undertale being featured as a watched video in some very recent cringe compilations where people watch videos that make them cringe, and it's like, oh, it's so bad. And yeah, Story of Undertale is still in videos like that to this day. You can see images on the screen right now that support this point. However, this video will be free of all opinionation and will reflect the events of Undertale the musical from a purely factual, statistical standpoint. So without further ado, let's get into the story of Undertale, shall we? The video begins with an angelic choir of singing, with the game's most plot-relevant characters, such as Monster Kid, telling you directly that this is in fact the story of Undertale. Just take a listen for yourself. I can't even put into words how beautiful this sounds, really.
Story of Undertale.
Majestic, beautiful, impeccable. After which, Frisk begins to sing as they fall from the light, pondering if they should talk with the monsters or simply fight them. After a moment's consideration, they decide that they will perform monster genocide, as this is their Undertale. They then further explain how they fell through a cave on a mountain called Mount Ebot, and proceeded to face a sinister flower in a pot with the ability to speak, and a desire for Frisk's death and rotting. This flower is named Flowey, and is, as I'm sure you're aware, not very important to the greater plot of Undertale. Overall, nothing terribly interesting happens here. After that's over, in the next scene we get to meet a brand new character, Toriel. Toriel is a goat woman who quite obviously lives in Snowdin, which is where Frisk coincidentally ends up after escaping Flowey's murderous intent with Toriel's help, and leaving the ruins with her. Toriel, in her caring nature, carries Frisk back to her home and provides them with a brand new working monster phone to call her with. After this, Frisk leaves Toriel's home and meets two more new characters, Sans and Papyrus. Upon seeing them, something happens in Frisk's fragile child mind. They remember that they have a choice in this world. Do they want to be a pacifist and make friends, or would they like to use their fists? They make a decision. They're feeling evil. Think they'll kill them all. We then cut to a bar or restaurant in Snowdin called Grillby's. It's here that Frisk sings what is agreed to be by many the best part of the entire song. A testament to his murderous intent, he belts out his true intentions from the very bottom of his heart, revealing his plan to wipe out the entire monster race to extinction. He explains that he will slaughter, screw the dialogue, a clever fourth wall break as expected from Alhugany's charming, genius sense of humor. But I'll let you listen to that, because it's just like the intro. It's so beautiful, I can't even describe to you how good it sounds.
I'm on the saddle and I got a taste. I want to wipe out the monster race. Whoa, I got no patience, I've got no soul. I will slaughter, screw the devil.
After this, this, Frisk restates their story of falling from the light and choosing monster genocide. Nothing new or groundbreaking there. In the next scene, we do get something new and groundbreaking. Frisk proclaims their bloodthirst for a new character, Undyne. Head of the Underground Royal Guard and strongest monster in the underground, presumably, Frisk still wipes the floor with her, leaving nothing but a mangled corpse and blood. This is incredibly accurate to the in-game genocide route of Undertale, where Undyne scarcely presents a challenge for most players. Frisk says it themselves, with all this XP, there's no way they can lose. They also intend to never stop as they're feeling very rude. So rude that they throw out a threat to all of monster kind. Asgore, king of the monsters, the only monster stronger than Undyne, is shaking at the sound of Frisk's approach. And then, just as quickly as we'd met them, Sans and Papyrus are no more. Frisk slaughtered Sans and squashed his brother Papyrus like a roach. And with no one the wiser, Kara was their coach the whole time. Once again, very accurate to Undertale's genocide route, as Sans and Papyrus go down quite easily as side characters, and Kara plays a very heavy role throughout the genocide route's unique dialogue and interactions. So props to Elhugany for doing his homework on what the game's genocide route is actually like. Moving on from Sans and Papyrus, we learn something new about this Kara character. They whisper into Frisk's ear, seemingly hypnotizing them, preventing them from ever truly backing out of their promised genocide of the entire monster race. With the sound of Kara's voice in their ear, they approach a brand new location, a laboratory of some kind with a yellow lizard character named Alphys and a robot character named Metaton inside. As Frisk sings his murderous ballad, he conquers Metaton with 3 hits from his burnt pan in a swift but very ferocious battle. It can only be assumed what malicious things he may have done to Alphys afterwards. Celebrating the slaughter of Alphys and Metaton, Frisk looks over their vast array of weapons to see what they have for the eventual final confrontation with Asgore. A burnt pan, a toy knife, a stick to take their lives, a tough glove, and ballet shoes. They declare it an epic fight like front page news. It's at this point that a new turn in the plot is revealed. King Asgore, the savior of monster kind, has a mission. He desires the collection of human souls. 7 of them, precisely. He needs them to become all-powerful, break the seal trapping all monsters underground, make it to the surface, and start a new war with the humans, presumably murdering them all. So while it may not have seemed like it for the entire story, the monsters Frisk mercilessly slaughtered were the true villains all along. If anything, Frisk is a hero to humankind. So it just goes to show, just as video games and movies can be profound, so too can musical animation song parodies. With its beautifully accurate rendition of the game's plot, stunning animation, and glorious songwriting, Story of Undertale is truly the definitive way to experience Undertale's plot. And while some may see it as an inaccurate retelling, with such flaws as the game show still occurring in the genocide route, or Sans and Papyrus dying together in Hotland, or Toriel walking through Snowdin, I prefer to see it as an artistic retelling, an interpretation, if you will, its own masterpiece, in a different way than Undertale, but still worthy of just as much love as its own sort of artistic interpretation of something much more popular and widely loved. But for what reason, truly, is it more loved? What did Story of Undertale do to everybody? What did it do? When you really think about it, I want you to answer that question for me. Just think about it for a minute. What did Story of Undertale do other than maybe be quote-unquote cringe? Did it really hurt anybody? Did it make anybody upset? Maybe the animation's not great, maybe the story's not accurate, but it's just as deserving of love, right? On its own properties. Its musical merit. Let me just throw away the meme for a second and say that the song itself is pretty good. It's not great, but it's a decent song in my opinion. Especially if you listen to the full version 2, made by Ender. You can hear it on the Story of Undertale YouTube channel. It's great. It's a good remix. It's genuinely really fun to listen to. But this has been my Story of Undertale retelling and video essay. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video. Goodbye.